car enthusiasts, they will know how social and active the community can be. But now there's a planned car meet with a difference. 𝗣𝗓𝗧𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗑, who is from Loughborough, has always organised events, particularly car meets, for around a decade now. She's a car enthusiast herself and wanted to use her skills and contacts to help bring people from different communities together to break down barriers and to help people find a common interest and ground. With the lockdown, social restrictions being in place, she's now found a way to drive through and help promote good mental health through it. And Claire is with us now and can explain more. Claire, thank you so much for taking the time. First of all, why don't you just explain a bit about what we would call the car community and what that means?
I think the car community is a family, first and foremost. It's somewhere you go when you need help. It's somewhere you go to have fun. It's somewhere you go to relax. It's somewhere you feel part of something bigger. I think that's really, really important for a lot of people, more so now than ever before.
Tell us about that. Why is it so crucial, and why, how do you feel when, maybe if you are feeling little bit low and you go and you meet the friends that you've met through cars and through the community, how that impacts you?
I think what's really great is that common ground, that common interest where you've all got the cars. So you can lose yourself in the moment. You can find something different to occupy your mind on. If there's a problem, you can all sort of chip in and focus on the issue and try and, again, come together as a community to help solve an issue.
And how crucial is that, do you think, to have that output, to have that group of people that you can rely on to chat and just to talk about something, as you say, this shared interest?
I think that, essentially, really, as human beings, we all need to feel love and belonging. We all need to feel that sense of community. And I really believe that the community of the cars, that's where it's at for a lot of us.
So what do you actually do? Talk us through a typical car meet, what the sort of plan of action would be.
So we've got the launch of Pitstop.social's first event at award-winning cafe, 𝗣𝗓𝗧𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗣. That's going to be on the 4th of August. So it's going to be quite different to any events that I've ever worked on before, because it's got that core focus of promoting positive mental health. It's got that core focus of providing a platform to not just bring people together, but to bring them together in a way that they're going to benefit. They're going to go away and they're going to learn something. They're going to make new friends. They're going to be able to go away and have a transformative experience is really what the aim is. So what's quite different about Pitstop.social is the fact that that's the core ethos. And there's, I don't want to give away too much. There's a lot of exciting things that are happening. There are a lot of exciting things to bring the community together. And we've got a very good car friend from the community called 𝗣𝗬𝗧𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗣 𝗦𝗬𝗧𝗢𝗍𝒻 They're coming along to do some live YouTube coverage or some YouTube footage. We've also got some smaller, startup almost sort of entrepreneurs. We've got MX5 coming along to take some professional photography for us. And there's, like I say, a lot of things going on that are going to bring people together and give people something to remember and go away and think about.
You sort of touched upon before about the meets themselves and how great that is, but you said then about the YouTube coverage. Just how huge is this kind of I can't think of another phrase than industry, but this sort of this sort of community. How huge is it on things like YouTube and social media?
Oh, it's absolutely huge. There's a huge community for the automotive following. There's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of communities. I think more and more people are starting to incorporate mental health as part of their ethos. But for, again, Pitstop, it is the core focus of the entire event.
Is that specifically because of certain, feedback you may have had throughout the pandemic or anything like that? Have you had people coming to you and say maybe they were struggling if meets weren't able to be happening?
I think personally for myself and my partner Ricky, who runs a company called 𝗣𝗓𝗧𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗣, being in touch with other people is really important. It's socialisation is part of life, a big part of life. You need to connect with other people, and I think that Sorry, could you repeat the question?
No, just that, lockdown was tough on, I think, all of us. I think if it wasn't tough on you, then you've been very lucky. And I think that, you spoke about how this community and what it offers to you. And I was just wondering if the fact that all of a sudden that wasn't able to happen in the same way, whether that had an impact that made you decide or certainly influenced the decision to focus a bit more on mental health and trying to help in that direction.
I think it's part of, like I say, it's part of my personal experiences. And it's like you've mentioned, it is part of other friends reaching out and talking to a lot of different people. I think there's been a big sort of movement in general towards the awareness and acceptance of mental health over the years. And again, the pandemic has isolated a lot of people and people need that outlet. So talking to friends online is great, but actually being present is something that just can't be replicated at the moment. So recently I've organised an event for one of Europe's largest MX5 clubs at quite a renowned venue down near Coventry. And I took my partner along, and he's been a car enthusiast for a long time, but he's never really been to an event. So we went along, and it completely changed his experience and sort of outlook on socialising with larger amounts of people, really. He was very anxious and nervous to go along, and we spent, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, but we spent quite a while sort of in prep because of anxieties and worrying about being out with people, especially having been locked away for so long. So it was largely really Ricky's experience that sort of founded the event, as it were, because of how positive he came away, how inspired he felt, how connected he felt. He was talking to everybody. He was a different version of himself that he really enjoyed. And that's really what it's about, is getting people sort of out of scary comfort zones in a very comfortable and easy way. So bringing people to these events so they can feel comfortable. There's always going to be limited capacity, so it's never going to be massive amounts of people. That's something that's always going to remain. So people can come along and feel comfortable without feeling overwhelmed.
That sounds brilliant. Big shout out to Ricky as well, Claire. So the first event, so I'm going to be perfectly honest, this sounds great, but I know nothing about cars, all right? So can you just tell us a little bit? So is the first one the Mazda MX5? Tell us a bit about that and why we should be excited about that car.
I don't know if we've got time to listen to why you should be excited about the MX5, because it's yeah, I've been part of the MX5 community for over, almost 10 years now, I'd say. I've got 3 or 4 of them myself. I've got a couple of Mark 1 project cars, a couple in restoration. It's actually how I met Ricky. It's how I've met most of my friends. It's how I've survived the pandemic. The MX5 is amazing. So the very first event is celebrating the MX5 community and sort of giving back to a lot of people that I know firsthand with the MX5s need the opportunity to come and connect with other people in a small, safe, social environment and get back to how things used to be.
Sounds brilliant, Claire. If people want more information, maybe about this event or just about the series of events in general, where can they find that?
You can find us on Facebook at Pitstop.social. You can find us on Instagram at Pitstop.social. You can also find us at our web address, which is www.pitstop.social.
Claire 𝗣𝗬𝗧, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack. Have a great day.